Hi, I'm Brook Meiller. I'm the Director of Literacy for Norman Public Schools, and I was a member of the writing team for the Oklahoma Standards, and I'm going to talk with you today about Standard 1, Speaking and Listening. Speaking and listening is really at the heart of how we learn everything. When you think back, or you think to your own children or your own childhood, we didn't come out reading for information. That's not how we learned. We learn by listening to things, and we learn by talking about things. And we really have to remember that in our classrooms, that that's still the most basic way we learn, is to take in information by listening and to work through information by talking about it with someone else. Speaking and listening is at the core of your instruction. It's what goes on all day, every day in your classroom. It's not something that you maybe take a multiple choice test over, but it's something that helps you learn everything else. So you have to plan for it, and you have to be really intentional about it. So one of the things I want you to think about when you're looking at those speaking and listening standards, and as you read those across the grade levels, it's pretty much about having students be able to talk to one other student, and not just talk at them, but actually listen to what they say, answer them, build on their ideas, so in pairs, but then also in small groups, so that it's not always where we're just waiting on our next turn to talk, but we're actually listening, and then finally collaborating in a large group. But you need to have a plan for that. And in your own instruction, if you teach from notes or you teach from a PowerPoint that you've made or whatever, you need to put something in there that reminds you, I've got to stop. They have to talk to each other, and I have to plan for the questions or the ideas that I want them to talk about. And I have to decide, would this conversation be best in pairs? Should I have pairs talk first and then become groups of 4? Should I have groups of 4 talk first and then become bigger groups of 8? Or should I just have my whole class talk about this, and I'm the facilitator on the side? When we think about what's going to be tested, meaning when you see the Oklahoma blueprint, speaking and listening isn't on it, because right now our test is a multiple choice and writing test, and you really can't show that you can speak and listen through multiple choice or through writing. So we have to remember that speaking and listening is at the heart of how we learn. To help me remember that, I really like this particular graphic. This shows all 8 standards as they build on each other. So if you take a look at this graphic, you can see that speaking and listening is at the top, sitting all there by itself. It's not grouped with other standards. And then independent reading and writing is at the bottom, all by itself, not grouped with other standards. That shows how we actually learn new information. So if I'm just walking into a room and I've never been there before, I'm going to start listening, and I'm going to talk to people and figure out what's going on. And then I'm going to begin to maybe read some information and look at some other things and look at other modalities and really examine the language of that discipline and the vocabulary of that discipline, ultimately getting me to independently working with that new information. But I have to listen to others first, and I have to talk to others first. If you've ever had a problem you're trying to solve and you're just sitting there all alone, what do? You go find somebody to talk to. We have to remember that in our classrooms, that speaking and listening is at the heart of our instruction. You're going to do great with Standard 1. Just make sure you plan for it and you're intentional.